Okay, so we are starting Unit 3, Perception, meaning, laws, perceptual constancies, and factors affecting perception. Here are the questions you need to look out the answers for during our session. What do you understand by perception? Define it and describe the stages of perceptual process. Differentiate between perception and sensation. Describe the role of attention in perception. What do you understand by perceptual constancy and describe any two types of constancies? What is Gestalt theory of perception? Describe any 5 Gestalt principles of organization. Explain perceptual expectancy and describe how it affects one's perception. Now let's start by a story. A young kid drew a picture and showed his masterpiece to the grown-ups and asked them whether the drawing frightened them. But they answered, "Frighten? Why should anyone be frightened by a hat?" But his drawing was not a picture of a hat. It was a picture of a big snake digesting an elephant. But since the grown-ups were not able to understand it, he made another drawing. He drew the inside of the snake so that the grown-ups could see it clearly. His drawing number 2 looked like this. You see the first image. It was one image but was interpreted so differently by adults from that kid. As illustrated above, it is not necessary that our understanding of a stimulus will be shared by others also. Okay, now let me define stimulus first before we proceed any further. It is any agent, event, or situation, internal or external to us, that brings out a response from an organism. Its plural is stimuli. There are two types of stimulus. One is conditioned stimulus. It's a neutral stimulus that is repeatedly associated with an unconditioned stimulus until it acquires the ability to elicit a response that it previously did not. In many, but not all, cases, the response elicited by the conditioned stimulus is similar to that elicited by the unconditioned stimulus. Now let me explain to you by an example. If you show a bright light to a rat just before giving him food and you do it repetitively, you can make a rat salivate just by showing the bright light, even if you have not presented the rat with the food. So here, the light becomes the conditioned stimulus. Now let's discuss unconditioned stimulus. A stimulus that which elicits an unconditioned response, as in withdrawal of your hand when you touch hot iron, contraction of the pupil on exposure to bright light, or salivation when food is in the mouth. In previous example of rat, food is unconditioned stimulus and light is conditioned stimulus. Now let's take this viral image for example. Some people see the dress as white and gold and others swear it's blue and black. I personally see this as white and gold. You can tell me in the comment section below if you see it white and gold or blue and black. Show it to your family and friends to see what they think. In the case of the dress, the reason some people see it as different color is not because they are colorblind, which is usually caused by a defect in a person's color cones, nor it is some fundamental difference in color vision. The brain has just made an assumption about how the dress is being illuminated, and it's different for different people. For example, if your brain assumes that the lighting on the dress is very dim, it will assume that the dress itself is highly reflective, that is white and gold. If your brain assumes the opposite, that is the lighting is very bright, then it makes the judgment that the dress itself must be darker, hence blue and black.